Yesterday, as you know, was the 22nd anniversary of the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks. And if you're old enough to remember the tragedy of that day and its aftermath, you also likely remember where you were during that period of time. Now, during his speech yesterday, President Biden talked about being at ground zero on September 12, 2001. However, critics were quick to note that wasn't the case, as he was instead giving a speech on the Senate floor.
Each of those precious lives stolen too soon when evil attacked. Ground zero in New York, and I remember standing there the next day.
For in this dastardly act, they may have done what no other group of people could possibly have done, and that is unite the civilized world.
Johanna, we asked the White House about this today. They noted to us that President Biden was at ground zero then as a senator on September 20th, 9 days later.
Yeah, I don't think the White House had a great day yesterday on the communications front. There were a couple issues. There was also some, sharing about some Saudi news, probably on the wrong day from the NSC comms person. Look, I am old enough to remember when Hillary Clinton was talking about her fierce combat, fire she was receiving that we then, capitalize on. I think that Joe Biden probably was just thinking about it very generously, but it was probably not a good day.
Defendable?
Well, and I know, because he always connects himself to the tragedy like this, and that's the problem. When he's going to the family members of the 13 service members who were killed in Afghanistan during our disastrous withdrawal, he said his son came back in a body bag from Iraq. And, I understand, again, that there's a human proclivity to connect yourself to a big moment, but this is not the time. And he does this again and again and again. I mean, like a lot of people, my life changed on September 11th. I decided to go into the intelligence community. I deployed 3 times to Afghanistan because of it. So to me, it's not something to spin fabrications and tales around. This is a grave, serious matter. Frankly, we're starting to forget, but we should...
So let me ask you then, do you take issue with Donald Trump? Forbes headline, a timeline of Trump's misleading 9/11 claims. That he witnessed Muslims cheering in New Jersey as towers collapsed. That's largely been debunked. He said he watched people jumping from the towers while 4 miles away from Trump Tower. Claimed he, quote, helped a little bit to clear the rubble at ground zero. There are no eyewitness accounts of that.
I definitely think, again, it's no laughing matter. It's September 11th. We shouldn't make ourselves the story when it comes to this whatsoever. It was a day that I think we should remember in solemnity and not try to connect ourselves necessarily, especially if it wasn't true.
I said this during the break. If you ask any black person over the age of 70, they were there during the March on Washington, and their feet were in the reflecting pool at the Lincoln Memorial. And I think as we get farther away from 9/11, we're going to see the same thing. We're going to see politicians and people tie themselves to 9/11. Everyone was close to the Pentagon. Everyone was close to World Trade Center. It's unfortunate, but I think it's human nature. And I think when you're a politician, you take even more issue with these things.
But how much of it is also that basically 3/4 of the country, or 2/3, somewhere between 2/3 to 3/4 of the country, has serious issues about the president's age and whether or not he can be the commander-in-chief again?
I think it feeds into that narrative. But for me, what I really would like to see is politicians who practice the law start in Washington, which is listen. Listen to the victims' families. Listen to the first responders who were there, the ones that are still dealing with the health issues, the war fighters that we sent over to Afghanistan, Africa, and Iraq to actually prosecute the war on terror, and all of the issues that they've come home with. I think these politicians need to stop talking on September 11th, and I think they really need to man up and listen to the hard truths about what that day produced, how it impacted those families, and what it means for America going forward. And I think our policies will be better for it.
And yet, we're headed into Trump v. Biden, and both are older than Bill Clinton, which is shocking when you look at that.
There we are. Interesting point, though.
Age ain't nothing but a number.
Well, that's part of the argument, trying to defend the president.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.